We're here today, another Cooking with the Master. We're at Duck Shed HQ in North London with Claire to show us how to make her lovely duck croquettes. So Claire, what is the first step?
So we start off with our beautiful English ducks, creedy carver ducks. Don't forget to take all your giblets out. I always like to leave the neck in there just for like added flavour and stuff.
Right.
And then we've got some white pepper.
Yep.
Chinese 5 spice, perfect for duck. So you got like the cinnamon, the clove, the mandarin peel, super delicious.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna basically like make a nice like rich stock for it to kind of like braise in overnight. So we've got some light soy, some dark soy, and then we put Henderson's relish in there as well. So like you could use Worcester sauce, but we just use that. So it's no fish allergy. So then once all the soy's on, then we top her up with some water.
How much water's going in here?
So basically we're gonna cook this for like minimum of 6 hours. You can put it in overnight as well, like on a really nice low temperature.
Okay.
But we're gonna need the stock for making the croquettes.
Right.
So basically kind of like halfway. If in
Yeah.
doubt, add a bit more because we're gonna reduce it down later anyway. So it's better to have more liquid than for it to completely go dry.
Okay.
Then we're gonna cover her up. So a bit of parchment just helps it stop sticking to the foil. And want it nice and tight, and that's ready for the oven. So if you're doing it in the day, you can do it 160 degrees. Check it after 5 hours, but it takes like 5 to 6.
Okay.
Or if overnight, I do it like 130 degrees.
Right.
And
8 hours.
8 hours.
Yeah. Is there a benefit to doing it like lower and slower or not?
So you just want it to like super soft. You'll see at the end, like it's literally the meat just falls off the bone.
Okay.
So it's like super moist, super delicious. So we don't need to add any fat in there because the duck obviously like the fat renders out. So it's kind of like comfy and braising at the same time.
Cool. So stage 2, ducks come out the oven. We've done a little blue Peter, here's one I made earlier. But this has been roasted overnight for 8 hours, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 8 hours. And we're gonna pull it all apart, are we, is that right?
Yeah, so basically you'll see it's super moist and falling off the bone.
Oh, it smells amazing.
So you can see there's loads of juices there. That's from the soy and from the natural cooking liquor.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drain that off. Let it cool down a bit, obviously don't do this straight out the oven. Pour enough liquid off, and then you can be able to just go straight in and pull the meat off.
Right, just pulls off the bone completely.
Yeah, so you can just see like how super soft that is.
Wow.
I like to put some of the fat in, just like tear that up.
Yeah.
And with ducks, you get a lot of like little tiny bones.
Oh,
and obviously because we've slow cooked it, they're gonna be like super soft now. So you have to be like super careful that you don't leave any of those little bits in. I would just kind of give it a feel.
Yeah.
You can like feel for any little bones and then just pick away. Whilst we're picking all the ducks and all the nice meat off it, we can get the stock on to reduce. Paddy, do you want to do that?
I'll do
Pop
that,
her on the stove for me.
Do a bit of work this morning. Is this on a high heat to get the
get it nice and going, bring it to the boil.
Lovely.
And we'll give it a skim off as well because you are going to get a lot of fat on top of there.
And when you say skim off, the fat will float, will it, once it starts to boil?
Yes, the fat will flow. Ideally, like when we do it in the kitchen, we peel the stock down and completely take the fat off.
Okay.
But for the purposes of today, I'm working at home, and it's not going to be that much. So we'll just skim that off with a ladle. So now we've pretty much shredded, we've got all the meat off there, so just all the bones left. We've still got some of our delicious stock, so don't want that to go to waste. So carefully put that in there.
So literally in this whole dish, nothing is wasted apart from the bones?
No, absolutely not.
Wow.
And they're only getting thrown away now because they've done their bit. So we're going to taste it as we go, and because it varies depending each batch. So we're looking for like a nice intense flavour.
Okay.
Because that's going to get folded back through the meat. You can see the fat's like floating to the top now.
Yes, yeah.
So we're just gonna give that a little skim off. Because that's gonna, if we don't do that, then it's gonna affect when we make the roux later on.
So stage 3 now, we're gonna make the roux.
Yeah.
We've got the stock obviously reducing down.
Stock's reducing, nearly ready. We're gonna make a brown roux. So per duck, you want like 290 grams of butter. And when you're making a roux, it's always equal quantities, flour and butter.
Okay.
So we're gonna heat this one up. So when you're making a white sauce, so the bechamel and stuff like that, you would want to just melt the butter and add your flour straight away. We want a dark roux, so we're actually gonna heat up the butter, add the flour, and cook it out for a long time, and actually gonna change the colour of the roux.
Right.
So this is gonna help us with the brown sauce. So our butter's melted nicely now, so we can add our flour in.
Cool.
So make sure all that's in there, then quickly incorporate it. So now we're just cooking out the flour. If you were to make a white sauce, you'd just be cooking this out for a few minutes.
Right.
But like I said, we want to make a brown roux, so we're going to be cooking this out for like a good 10-15 minutes.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, wow.
You need to stand over it whilst you're doing it because it's
Yeah.
going to catch really easily with the flour.
Okay.
But you'll like slowly start seeing the colour change.
Right. Oh, wow. So keep standing over it, moving it for like 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
A labour of love.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So you can see this is really changing now.
Yeah.
And kind of like has the texture of sand, and just keep going with it. But like I said, just keep making sure it's not
Moving
caught on the bottom.
Yeah.
The stock's ready now, so that like tastes really delicious.
Okay.
Once it's settled, once you've turned the heat off, it's good to give it another little skim as well, because that fat will still float to
Get
the
all
top.
the fat
so
off.
just make
Yeah.
sure you got everything. And you can also like reuse your fat as well. So like
Okay.
keep that in your fridge.
Yeah.
Use it for cooking.
Use it for potatoes or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have a little bit of the soy flavour in there, but
Okay.
a bit of umami,
Yeah.
delicious. This is like at a ready stage now.
This is at the point, so it's
Yeah.
changed colour a little bit
Yeah.
to brown.
So let's change it up to a whisk now, and then
Yeah.
we can start adding the stock. So when you add the stock, it's going to be a little bit ferocious.
Oh yeah, wow. It is ferocious. Whoa.
So just like I said, a little bit at a time.
Okay.
And sometimes you don't need to add all your stock, but sometimes you also might need a little bit more if it's like looking a bit too thick.
Okay. What kind of consistency are we going for?
We've got a fold for our meat and we want it to hold together.
Okay.
So if this stage is too runny, it's just going to be a nightmare to work with the croquettes.
Right.
And when we fry them, they're just going to be like lose their shape.
Okay.
But we've also got a few other ingredients to add. So I'm not going to add all the stock yet. We're going to add some hoisin to this.
Okay.
And then we'll see what the consistency is like after that.
Okay.
So you want to use a good quality hoisin sauce for
Okay.
this one.
Yeah.
I use the Lee Kum Kee red label one. It's just a far more intense product.
Yeah.
If you go to the supermarket and buy like the little bottles of hoisin you get for like stir fries, like
Yeah.
it's just like gloopy, doesn't taste them, and it just like kind of just tastes like
okay.
soy sauce and
Yeah.
sugar. Whereas this one, you've got the fermented red bean paste, so just like way more umami. It does have a bit of a red colour to it, so at this stage it's gonna go strange colour. Put it back on low because that flour is still active, so it's still gonna carry on thickening. So yeah, now it's all incorporated.
So the roux has all been made.
Yeah, so we've got the kind of like a velouté, you could call it.
Right, yeah.
So that's ready, it's nice and thick. We've got the shredded duck meat, and we're just gonna whack that all in there. And get it all incorporated.
Lovely.
You can also get a glove on and get your hands like stuck in
Okay,
as well at this point.
yeah.
But obviously it is quite hot still, so you might want to cool it
Yeah.
down. We obviously make this at much bigger batches in the kitchen.
Yeah,
We do.
doing industrial sizes.
You also kind of want to make sure you break up the duck as well. You're not just getting one massive chunk.
Yeah, so as you keep stirring it, it keeps looking more and more pulled.
Yeah. Then just need to give it a little taste. Check the seasoning. I'll give you a taste as well, Pad.
Just in case you want a second opinion.
What do you think? Do you think it needs anything?
I think that's delicious. What do you think?
Quite intense, isn't it, with
Yeah.
the hoisin and everything like that. But then, obviously, when you've got it paneed and with the plum sauce,
Yeah.
that's like nice and sweet. So we're gonna let this cool down a little bit so we can manage it.
Yeah.
We're gonna like roll it into little balls. We'll chill that down, flour them, breadcrumb them, and then ready to deep fry.
Lovely, nice one.
So now this has cooled down a little bit, so
Yeah.
it's easier to handle. And we just want to make little balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a good size because then you get a good ratio from the crumb. And
Okay.
when it's deep fried, it's nice and crispy because obviously
Yeah.
the centre is quite big. So we're going to assemble the croquettes. So we've chilled these down a bit. You can even freeze them.
Okay.
So they're really solid. But yeah, just an hour in the fridge, that'd be pretty good. So just a basic penne. So you got your flour, egg and milk.
Burford brown eggs.
Oh, quality as always. Just a little dash of milk. Sometimes you like the eggs a bit gloopy when you're doing
Okay.
the panning in, so you
Yeah.
can add a bit of salt and that helps break down the egg.
Yeah.
Or you can, when we're doing a big batch, we just use like a hand blender.
Okay.
And just liquefies the egg, so
Yeah.
it's much easier. And then, yeah, so we can roll them in the flour. Make sure you pat it off, otherwise if you get a big clump of flour when it goes into the egg, that falls
Right,
off, and then
okay.
you've got a dry patch.
Yeah.
Swoosh it around. Always try and keep one hand dry, one hand wet.
Okay.
And back into the egg. Back into the breadcrumb. Don't need to put it back into the flour again.
Okay. You do that twice or
Do it
just until
twice,
sticks?
and that just gives it really nice coverage.
Okay.
Makes it super crunchy.
Yeah.
Just make sure you've got like all your gaps, because that's going to burn when we fry them. So whilst we're panning away, we can
Yeah.
get our oil on, so we'll be ready to fry in a few minutes. So
Cool,
do you want to have a go, Paddy?
I'll give it a go.
So yeah, into the flour all over.
So the egg.
And shake off a bit of the egg. If you kind of lift too quickly, then you end up making your panko bit. Panko's expensive, so you don't want to be doing that.
Yeah, no, we do not. Shall I shake that?
Yeah, give it a little shake. Perfect.
And then back into the egg.
Back into your egg. You can do a single one, but it just means just a bit more crispy. If you Quite the process, isn't it?
It is. There's a lot of work that goes into these duck croquettes.
Perfect. Now, if you
Happy
give it
with that,
little shapes, it's nice. Gorgeous.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. I'll leave you to do the rest. And when you're making batches of these for Street Food World, so how many are you making at a time?
So we would roast like minimum 6 ducks off at a time,
Okay.
but it depends on the time of year.
Yeah.
But,
And you get what, 30 croquettes, something like that?
Yeah, from a duck, I reckon.
Yeah,
We get about
okay.
croquettes that way.
Wow. So you're making 180 croquettes at one time.
It's quick maths, Paddy.
Thank you, thank you. 3 times 6. What we're going to do now then, Claire, we're going to fry the croquettes.
Yeah, fry them off.
Lovely.
You can try them.
So this oil's up to 180 degrees?
Yeah. Obviously be careful if you're frying at home. Don't overfill your pan. It's going to bubble over when you add them in. So obviously just half fill it.
Yeah. How long does these take to cook?
So you just want to get them like really nice and golden and crispy.
A couple of minutes, but it's more just checking they're going golden and crispy.
Yeah, 1 to 2 minutes.
Yeah.
If they are fridge cold and they're not hot in the middle, you can always like finish them through the oven as well.
Okay.
You keep moving them around as well so they don't get like patchy.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Wow.
And drain onto there, and then
Wow, lovely.
Nice and crispy.
God, they look amazing. So to plate up, we're serving the croquettes with
So
homemade sauce?
normally we make a plum sauce, but today
Yeah.
I made a seasonal special one. So I've got a spiced rhubarb and plum and a little
Lovely.
chutney for you.
Wow. Shall I go for it?
Yeah, let's go
Try
for
one. Oh wow, that is really, really nice. It's really crispy on the outside, and the duck and the filling on the inside really, really moist.
it. Yeah,
it
Chinese
is-
5 spice, nice.
5 spice coming together. That seasonal rhubarb sauce also pairs perfectly with it.
Yeah,
Got the spiced rhubarb and plum, absolutely amazing.
yeah,
Really,
it works
really
well
nice.
with the 5 spice and the duck.
Yeah, definitely, it brings it all together. Lovely, thank you. Thanks very much, Claire. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'd love learning how to make your croquettes. If you're following at home, I hope you've enjoyed the recipe. Give it a go. It's been absolutely amazing. It's a long process, and if you want to try these live, you can find them with the Duck Shed.
Yeah.
Got them served at Marketplace Vauxhall.
Yeah.
Any other places you got them?
In Mercato Metropolitano
Yeah.
in Elephant
Elephant
Castle.
Castle. Yeah.
And we have a new location coming soon, so give us a follow.
Follow the Duck Shed, check them out, and we'll see you in the next episode, Cooking with the Master. Thank you.
Cheers.